This is a Peak Performance Training Center presentation. The method. At Peak Performance Systems, we start with our mission statement, which is excellence is earned. This leads us to our values, which we teach daily, our ethics, and then finally manifests itself in a commitment to what we do and what your young athlete will do. They require the amount of perseverance necessary to achieve their goals, and then determination, which means they make up their mind as they've determined what their goals will be, and then they have the requisite patience because our process takes time. These are attributes that we build in the young athletes through our Peak Championship systems. Our process starts with different phases. Our first and initial phase is the preparation of the athlete for them to understand and accept the program as we continue to develop them into peak performance athletes. This is followed by the development stage, and this is where they actually learn the process and the life skills necessary to compete in the program and become the best that they can become. During this process, they enter the refinement stage, and this is where they take the skills that they've been learning and use them in their day-to-day life so that they can better understand how to accomplish goals, but more importantly, how to develop life skills. This is done through a process of actualization, which leads to our leadership development, and then finally the daily practice of what we do. And then ultimately, they enter what we call the torchbearer phase. And this is where they become representative of us and you in their community, their extended community, and in the world at large. In our preparation phase, we are setting the mindset. This is where we create the proper foundation in the mind of the young athlete. This is where we allow the athlete to build mental pathways for peak life skill development and success. As they do this, they're setting the foundation for them to be able to learn and implement the life skills that we teach them in our program. We're also setting expectations. We're setting expectations for them to us, from us to them, from you from them, and then finally from you to us. We want you to understand what we can do, how we can accomplish our goals as part of a team to make your young athlete even better. We then are revealing the pathways. Success only happens by finding the pathways that lead to success. So in some parts, we're teaching them then, but in other parts, we're showing them and revealing the pathways that they knew or didn't know existed inside themselves. PCS and its coaches reveal pathways that athletes will use to create success in life, in the arena, in their community, and in the world at large. We do this by using the IDEA method: introduce, demonstrate, explain, and apply. We start every lesson with an overview of the what, the why, the how, and the when something is valuable and why to use it. Athletes then value what they can understand and why it should be of importance to them. So we do this with physical skills and also with our life skill development. We then demonstrate. We demonstrate in action and in word the idea or the technique. The actual technique, whether mental or physical, attains value when shown in the context of its desired outcomes. The athlete will value it more if they understand why it should be important and how it can be used. And then we explain why the technique should matter, how it works, and what the strategy is behind its use. In this way, the athlete can understand why we're using this technique or why we're using this method, and then ultimately, again, why it should be of importance to them. Then we actually apply it, whether this is a physical technique or a mental technique or a life skill. We'll show them how it can be used in the competitive arena or in life in general. This way they understand the utility of it, they understand the value of it. Next is our development phase. This is where we do life skill study. Every month a new life skill is introduced. This becomes the focus of every lesson of the month, whether it's physical or intellectual. They then are expected on a daily basis to do the daily practice. They will practice every day inside and outside the training environment, utilizing that life skill or the method we teach. The use of this method will become a mainstay of the athlete's approach to learning and strengthening their internal and external knowledge bonds. Finally, we serve as role models, and we expect them to serve as role models in their community and to each other. So every peak coach serves as a role model in and out of the training environment, and we expect the athletes to do the same. All of this is then further refined in our refinement phase. Mentorship and peer review start. Each athlete is assigned a mentor and a peer group. This allows for a multi-tiered process of real-time feedback. We have a 5-question process that we go through every time we train. What did I do well? What did I do less well? Ask your coach or your peer what they thought you did well, what they thought you did less well, but more importantly, what you will do differently next time. This starts us into the process of daily review. We then begin our leadership development. Each athlete is assigned a series of tasks. This will serve as the foundation of future leadership opportunities. Over the course of the training, the athlete will develop a leadership mindset and the skills required to be an effective leader that makes change both inside and outside the arena. We then have action items and daily review. Athletes are giving a series of action items that are based on a constantly evolving review of their daily process and status. More importantly, mentors check in, and together with the athlete, they do a daily review of their progress and development. In that way, they can develop new action items. Now we enter the actualization phase of our method. Athletes are nominated to our Black Belt Academy, and once they're accepted, they begin the training process to become a Black Belt. They then develop a community service project, and in that community service project, it is reviewed by us. Once it's accepted, the athlete develops an action plan for implementation so that they can realize their goal. They further develop mentor relationships, both as a mentor and as a mentee. They then are paired with junior students who will serve as a mentor for the younger athletes as they train towards their own acceptance to our academy. Finally, there is the leadership team, and that's where Black Belt nominees become part of our center's leadership team and are assigned various opportunities within the center to build and refine their own leadership skill sets. Once they become Black Belts, they then enter the leadership phase. And this is where they enter our leadership programs. They can enter our competition team, our leadership team, our instructor training program, or staff development programs. In the competition team, they will train and learn the torch method as well as an elite Pumse process. This is designed so that they can design a training regimen and compete in select competitions leading to national championships. On the leadership team, they then become part of the group that actually teaches our younger students leadership. They are given leadership opportunities. They are part of a cohort, and it's usually focused on something they are passionate about, and they help in the development of our younger athletes. Finally, we have instructor training, and this is where they are paired with master instructors and teach alongside them in our organized class activities. It gives them an excellent opportunity to learn how to become a leader, but more importantly, how to teach the skills that they have learned before. They can also choose to become part of our staff. Once they are old enough, Black Belt nominees are vetted and hired by us to teach in our classes with our master instructors. They then learn the responsibilities and importance of employment while earning wages. This is a great way to teach them how to enter the real world and the workforce. Finally, our legacy programs. These are for our young athletes who have completed their leadership training and now are ready to move on to a lifetime of practice. They may enter our master's program. This is where they continue and they try to become a master level instructor and help other athletes. They can enter our instructor program. This is, again, where they become an instructor in our school, and then ultimately it's a paid position. So it gives them an opportunity to develop an understanding of small business, how it works, and how each person plays a role on the instruction team, but more importantly, on the work and the end product that we are looking for. We also have a coach and referee program. They are trained and certified so that they can serve as coaches and referee in local and national state competitions. Finally, they can enter a select few or phase. This is where they work alongside Grandmaster Perez and produce and develop peak legacy materials. They conduct seminars and training programs for our peak affiliates, but more importantly, they serve as spokespeople for the process of what we do and as living examples of the success that they can have if they are willing to train and accept the method that is presented to them. I have never had to face anything that could overwhelm the native optimism and stubborn perseverance that I was blessed with, said Supreme Court Justice Sotomayor. It always seemed impossible until it is done. And this was the great freedom fighter, Nelson Mandela, who escaped imprisonment to continue to fight for his people and for the rights of everyone. Life is not easy for any of us, but what of that? We must have perseverance and, above all, confidence in ourselves. We must believe that we are gifted for something and that this thing must be attained, said the scientist Madame Curie, who discovered many things that others couldn't and fought and continued to persevere. Success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you are doing or learning to do, said the great soccer player Pelé. Every amazing accomplishment in my life has been the result of never giving up or giving in. We are greater than the challenges that we face, and we are always greater than the challengers we run from. Never run from your future because you are greater than you know. This is the idea that you are challenged, and in that challenge and not giving up, you will realize things you never could have by not giving up. You will attain greater accomplishments than you ever could have dreamed of. Never run from a challenge or a challenger. Challenge yourself. It is through that challenge that you will grow, you will learn what you do not know, and you will create things that you did not ever think you could. Creativity is a result of desperation. Desperation for a solution, desperation for an answer, and the idea that you don't give up. You are destined to fail if you don't ever try. And you are destined to succeed eventually if you persevere and never give it up. By never giving up, you open the door to more possibilities and more options for success. At the moment that you cease to continue is the moment that you do fail, because all the options and potential for success are gone. It is only through succeeding and trying to succeed that you can be successful. Challenge yourself, challenge those around you, but more importantly, challenge failure, and you will be successful.